Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to a special installment of Blu-Rayviews. As you can see, I have prepared for the inevitable apocalypse with the appropriate attire.
Whew. It's hot in there. Anyway, hello. Yeah, so this is going to be a very special one. As you can see, I have changed my setup. You can actually see some of the collection now. The lighting's better, everything's awesome, and I'm very sweaty from having worn my apocalypse mask that arrived in the mail today. But as, people continue to get infected out there, if this is indeed the apocalypse, might as well start treating it like one, right? And, they come in handy once the airborne pathogen starts giving people an insatiable hunger for human flesh, right? Well, anyway, if you look behind me here, got a whole big bunch of stuff to open. The first of which, as you can no doubt surmise, is this Showa-era collection of Godzilla films from the Criterion Collection. And it's in this ginormous, this like oversized kind of children's book looking packaging here. It's so big that I don't think I'll be able to put it on the shelf there. I'll have to put it on a different one. But we got 15 kaiju classics, including Godzilla, Godzilla Raids Again, King Kong vs. Godzilla, Mothra vs. Godzilla, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, Invasion of Astro Monster, Ibara Horror of the Deep, Son of Godzilla, Destroy All Monsters, All Monsters Attack, Godzilla vs. Hedorah, Godzilla vs. Gigan, Godzilla vs. Megalon, which I remember renting from Blockbuster when I was a kid. I imagine that was one of the more common ones to find at that time. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, and Terror of Mechagodzilla. So yeah, that was the original era, the original lineup of Godzilla films before they rebooted it with the Return of Godzilla, and then they've rebooted it several times since. And that's just talking about original Toho Godzilla, not even talking about American Godzilla. But yeah, so let's get the plastic off of here and let's see what all we got in here. So we've got the little sticky thing on the back here. And I don't know if I should, what should I do with that? Should I take it off or leave it on? There we go. Okay. Now that looks cool. So the artwork on this thing, as you can see, it looks quite cool, and the back looks really cool here. Again, the design of this thing looks like a giant children's book. And so, welcome to story time, children. Once upon a time, there was a giant lizard named Godzilla. He destroyed Tokyo numerous times over, and the humans were powerless to stop him each time. So, they had to trust that Godzilla was just in a good mood that day, so he wouldn't try to obliterate them like he normally would. But lo and behold, King Kong arrived on the picture, and then all other kinds of crazy shit started happening. And it's really awkward to hold this thing and try to show it off at the same time. There we go. But yeah, it's all kinds of neat shit in here. Anybody else out there, big Godzilla fans? I know I am. It's been so long since I've watched these, certainly back to back. For me, it was always a tough thing to, cause I was a kid in the Blockbuster era, and it was always a tough thing finding any of these. And you certainly wouldn't be able to find them in order, because Blockbuster pretty much only dealt in the newest things that were out at the time. They didn't really stock as many old school stuff as they should have. So there's where all of our discs are housed. And I'm so glad that Criterion, that they're giving the Criterion treatment, well, not only for Godzilla, but also, they've got a Bruce Lee set coming out this year, which I pre-ordered. And so it's, good that they're, giving those films some love. All right, anyway, we have massive bunch of stuff here, so let's get right into it. We got one from Edinburgh, Texas. Not Edinburgh, it says Edinburgh. So, important distinction there. And I know what some of these things are going to be. Like, I know what the big boxes are. I don't know what some of the smaller ones are necessarily. So, we're going to find out together. Is it getting hotter where you are? Because it's sure getting hotter where I am. And so it is not a fun time. And I know what this is here. So this, I'm sorry to say, I kind of damaged that a little bit. But it's the Birdman slipcover, the one with the red slipcover there. I feel dumb that I kind of scratched it a bit, but that's also the side that doesn't face anything. So this is the side that would face it. But yeah, Birdman, which used to have this one that had the red collectible slipcover there, which I just damaged, but whatever. I don't know are you guys fans of Birdman? Like, I liked it as far as filmmaking goes. For me, the script kind of had some issues with a lot of just cliched plot points that don't really go anywhere. That I didn't really care for, but it was a well-made film, well acted. And yeah, I feel bad that I scratched that up, but who knows, maybe I can, if I ever find this somewhere else, maybe I can swap it out, or who knows what, but it's not that bad. I mean, that side is still good, but whatever. Yeah, Michael Keaton did great in that film. What else have we got? Linwood, California, which is where our dear friend Weird Al Yankovic is from. Alright, so we've got Death Race, Beyond Anarchy. This is one of the direct-to-video Death Race films in the remake series of that. I really, really love Roger Corman's original Death Race, and Death Race 2000, and I have, in the collection, I have Death Race 2050, which he produced, which is a recent one. Not seen it yet, but I'm very much looking forward to watching, that one. I want to watch the original again, and then, I'm looking forward to watching the remake series. The 1 through 3 of the remake series, they're on their way. Before too long, they will be arriving. They'll be arriving from our good friend JDC Outlets. So there'll be the Canadian releases of that. So this one says "Do Not Bend," and it says from Muskego, Wisconsin. All right. So it says "Don't Bend," so I assume this is probably going to be like slipcovers or something, but we're going to find out. I'll try not to be stupid again like I was with my trusty blade there. Yeah, how you guys holding up out there? I'm very hot right now. It's starting to heat up, and if you're anything like me, I don't like the heat. Like, I'm sweating. And it doesn't help that I wore a doomsday mask there. That kind of heats you up, but hey, it does the job, right? And it's multi-purpose. I can use it for if I'm spray painting or dealing with anything smelly. Alright, and we've got another bag in here. You often wonder, like, what's the proper way to open some of these things. There we go. And what do we got? We got even more wrapping. Yeah, this thing ain't going anywhere. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, speaking of, kind of funny that this one was not from Linwood, California. The other one was, but this one was not, even though it probably should have been, because it is UHF. Woo! Now, I do already have this film, but I do not have it with the slipcover, and that's really, really cool. I didn't even know that, because this is a Shout Factory, I didn't even know that this came with a slipcover, to be honest. Now, I'm going to leave this in the wrapping because I do already have the film. And there we go. And you can get more in trade-in when it's sealed. But anyway, there we go. So, how cool is that, huh? But yeah, so this is the UHF here. There's, I'm a ginormous Weird Al fan. He's one of my heroes. And yeah, there's the original theatrical poster there. The new slipcover artwork's pretty cool too. Yeah, I didn't even know that this had a slipcover, so as soon as I saw it on eBay, I had to make sure to grab it. So, yeah, amazing cult classic 80s comedy there. I wish that it would have done better business, but then again, if it had, you know, maybe it wouldn't have the cult classic status that it has today. Alright, now, the first of the two huge boxes, and this one, yeah, Sweetgrass, Montana, so it is JDC outlet. And we're gonna just open it right up here. Now, these two boxes, these are a lot of things that were found on his eBay store for really cheap. They were like maybe $3-4, you know, each, just depending on what they were. Quite cheap, and because I ordered them in bulk, I got, you know, my shipping refunded to me, which was really nice of him. And so now we can start to see what all is even in here. There's a whole big bunch of goodies in here. Again, we got a second one to get through after this, so just strap in. So yeah, this is actually, some of these were sold together, some of these were sold as a lot, and then some of them were separate, but whatever. So first up is Drag Me to Hell. This is the standard edition. Again, you'll notice these are all Canadian. This is the standard one. I do have this already on the Scream Factory version, and so I will be selling this. But still, you know, it'll go in the sell pile, get some credit for that. Another one that I already have on Scream Factory is Army of Darkness. That's the standard release of that, which, you know, I might be able to get a few bits of credit for that one. And then what else do we have? We got the Evil Dead remake from 2013, and this is the theatrical cut, I believe, the rated cut. And I do have the extended cut, the unrated cut. I do have that coming in the mail. I believe it's coming from Germany. Now, they did release, in the United States, they did release a version of this film that had the theatrical and the extended cut together on 2 discs, but because I was getting this lot, it's like, well, I'll just get the extended cut separately. But I like this. It was good. It... you know, it was solid remake. I mean, the original series is better, but still, as far as remakes go, you could do a whole lot worse. It's hard to find this with the slipcover, and unfortunately, this one I couldn't. You know, didn't come with it, but I'll look for it separately. And then we got now this is one that we saw before with that custom artwork, but I managed to find this in that same lot with the slipcover, and this is why I got it predominantly, was because I really... it is a great slipcover design, and I do like the original, you know, cover there, and it's just made even cooler because it has the French in there as well. So what I'll do... see, there's the... it just looks like that, but what I'll do... see, here's the custom cover art that we had, and we saw that before. What I'm going to do, just to jazz it up, and to make sure that I get my goodie out of everything, I'm going to put this on the inside here, much like a reversible, you know, Scream Factory cover or something. And there you go. And that way, the inside looks pretty cool too. And so yeah, I got the best of both worlds here. And then the extra copy that I have of Don't Breathe, that will go in the to sell pile. Yeah, I have a little pile of things to sell, and there are two places in town that one of which is open, the other of which is not yet open. I'm gonna see which ones are open when when it comes time to sell things, because I've got some more things coming that I'm probably gonna sell. But I'll see which of those ones, which one is open when I go to do trade-in or whatever. But I'll keep this one, and so now I got the custom artwork in there on the inside, so it's all good. Really hot. Anyway, this is an underrated film, The Ruins here. I really like this one. It has the girl from Donnie Darko named Jenna Malone. Yes, she does a really, really good job in this film. It's a, I think, pretty underrated horror film. Nobody really talks about it anymore, but I think it's definitely worth a watch. And then we got The Descent, the uncut version of that, which I remember I started watching, but I hadn't finished it yet. And there's our disc there. Looking good, alright. Moving right along. We got some more. Yeah, I like that he got these all kind of nicely wrapped individually. He does a good job of taking care of me. Alright. So, what all do we have in here? Got a whole bunch of stuff. Again, remember, these are all pretty cheap. So, it seems like a lot, but, you know, each one is pretty cheap. Brick Mansions with Paul Walker there. Now, this is the Canadian cover, and with the Canadian slipcover there, which looks cooler than the American one that we got. And this, I believe, was a posthumous release for Paul Walker. So, yeah, it was something I was able to get for cheap. And I just like the look of the slipcover there. Something that comes with the slip, it's like, it just, you know, it's going to grab my attention more than something else might. Now, this one here seems to be coming in one of those obscenely huge cases. I'll probably swap this out for a smaller case, but it's 200 miles per hour, which was the Asylum's knockoff of Fast and the Furious. You know, it's always cool to see kind of what the Asylum does with new releases that come out. You know, because they always are, they never miss a trick. You know, they've always got some kind of new cool thing that they want to trot out, such as Almighty Thor, when that came out around the time of the first Marvel Thor movie. And obviously, because Thor is Norse mythology, anybody can make their own version of Thor, because no one owns the copyright on Thor, the mythological character. Now, Marvel, you know, their version of Thor is copyrighted, as well as, like, DC has a version of Thor, and DC has a version of Hercules, Marvel has a version of Hercules, Disney has a version of Hercules. It's all over the place, but yeah, because they're mythological characters, nobody can own the copyright on that. So you, dear viewer, could go out and make your own Thor movie and theoretically do well with it. So there you go. It's always cool to see what the indies do, you know. Next up, the Hills Have Eyes 2-pack here, the remakes. I've only seen the first of the original series. I need to see the second one, and I need to see the unofficial third one. But yeah, so these are actually harder to find, well, separately, but also harder to find just in general than you might think, for whatever reason. I don't know why. But, you know, I've heard decent things about these remakes. Eager to check them out. I know that it was it Marcus Nispel who did these? Well, this second one, Martin Weist? Oh, sorry, Alexander Aja, whatever, however you say it. Yeah, he's the one who did Piranha 3D, which I really like, so eager to check that out. And then we got 31 with the rare Canadian slipcover. It looks very similar to the American one, except the top there is red instead of blue. But yeah, 31, it was okay. You know, it wasn't my favorite Rob Zombie film. I like his films generally, but I did feel like this one was just not really. I didn't feel like it was quite up to his normal standards. It felt a bit like a step back, I think. Now, I know it was relatively small budget, but like he had done so many other cool things in his other films that I think that just, to me, it felt like a step back. Um, Next up, we got The Fault in Our Stars, which I have never seen, but again, it was like $3 with the slip. Um, and I really love Shailene Woodley. I know that they cut her scenes out of Amazing Spider-Man 2 that had her as Mary Jane Watson, and you know that granted that movie was overstuffed already, but when I knew that she was being cast as Mary Jane Watson, I was like, hey, that's a good choice. I just felt bad that we never got to see her in that role, and with that particular continuity, we're never gonna see her. In that role. I don't think. Anyway, and then we got this Steve Austin Steelbook here, 4 films in there. It's always interesting to see what the various WWE superstars do after they largely retire from wrestling, or you know, sometimes they do it while they're still wrestling. It just depends. But yeah, with him, like, it did seem like, you know, his career did seem like it was cut a bit too short because of his neck injury, and you know, yeah, his movie career, like, it was there, but it didn't really take off in the same way as, like, you know, Hulk Hogan or The Rock or a couple others, or John Cena. You know, he's starting to get in that mode now. But anyway, moving right along. What else do we have here? See, there's just so much stuff to get through here, and that's the nice thing, is you can get a lot of stuff that's kind of off the beaten path or a little bit older, but you can manage to find them with the slipcovers, and you can find them for cheap. So we got Attack from Beneath, also known as Atlantic Rim, which was the Asylum's knockoff of Pacific Rim, and they had to change it. You know, they mostly get away with it because they tend to adapt things that are public domain. So like they did, you know, Sherlock Holmes, or they did The Lost World, or they did any number of things that are in the public domain. But then they have gotten in some legal trouble at a couple turns, like this one, when it was called Atlantic Rim, I think they got in trouble with Warner Brothers and Legendary Pictures, and same with like when they had the movie Lord of the Elves, they were trying to call it like Legend of the Hobbits or something like that, and they tried to justify it by saying, oh, Hobbit meaning the you know, species of primitive men that were discovered in like Australia or something, that were really small, and then Warner Brothers was like, nope, not letting you get away with that. You know, so they've gotten in trouble a couple times. Next up, Alien Origin, which was, I guess, a found footage sci-fi film that the Asylum did, that was kind of done at the same time as Prometheus. You know, again, it's always neat to see what the indies do when a big release comes along. What else do we have? We got Looper, which I've never seen, but it was Rian Johnson, who is now Mr. Controversial because of The Last Jedi, which I thought he did a great job with that, but I am eager to see his other work, such as Looper. He also did the one episode, The Fly. He did that episode of Breaking Bad, which was also kind of polarizing. I think that could be my favorite episode of that show, because it was a really good singular episode, and it really defied my expectations. Like, when the episode first started, I was like, are you kidding me? This is what the premise is? And then as it went along, I was like, oh wow, this is actually legitimately brilliant. It really caught me off guard, and I'm not usually one to get caught off guard by movies or TV shows, so, you know, I think that he's quite a talent. Next up, Doomsday Book here. This is a film from, I forget where, Oh, Korean directors. Okay, so yeah, it's a Korean sci-fi film. Again, found it cheap with the slipcover there. Well, Go USA. They're the ones who are doing a good job of bringing, Asian cinema over here. So yeah, eager to check that out. And it was, from the directors of I Saw the Devil and Hansel and Gretel, both of which I've heard good things about. Next up, this is one I've heard a lot of great things about, A Monster Calls. I heard really, really good things about this. I believe that it was I Hate Everything who mentioned how much he liked this film, which is good for this film because he hates everything. He, getting praise from him is, big deal. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Next up, we've got Danny Boyle's Sunshine, which I've heard is kind of a cult classic now. I know that Tarantino liked this film up until, I guess, the ending when or the latter part of the film. Next up, we got The Children. This one is, again, all of this stuff's the Canadian versions, but this one in particular, in the United States, it has that Ghost House Presents. It's got the skull and it's got all this other extra stuff on it, but this one's just more simple and straight to the point. Also because it's an Alliance release, and that's like one of the big, companies in Canada there. But I think it just looks better, and I've heard that this is a really good kind of Christmas-themed horror film. And then I remember seeing the trailer for this film when it was new, Greenberg. It was Ben Stiller, and it was done by Noah Baumbach, who did The Squid and the Whale, and did the Meyerowitz stories, New and Selected, and Francis Ha, things like that. So yeah, eager to check that out. I remember seeing the trailer, and I was like, oh, that looks good. Alright, moving right along. Get that out of the way there. Alright. I'm gonna change things up here. I'm getting tired of craning my neck or whatever, however you want to say it. So now I'll just crane it the other way. How about that? That's a smart idea. There we go. Okay. So we got a bunch of horror movies here. I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, let's just split the difference here. Okay, so got a bunch of horror movies. We got World War Z, which I never saw, mostly because I remembered seeing the trailer, and I remembered thinking this looks awful, but then the reviews came out, and I heard that it was actually pretty good. So yeah, eager to check that out. I do have a custom cover coming for this, because this cover here, just the standard edition, at least for me, I think it's really boring looking, so the one that I managed to order, I think looks a lot cooler than that. Next up is the one that I heard really great things about, Daybreakers with Willem Dafoe there. Another vampire film. Now, this one here I got, it has the slip and everything. Then I realized after the fact that this also has a 4K of it. So this might go in the 2-cell pile, or I might just see if I can't find the 4K disc on eBay, or I don't know what. I'll figure it out. It is a beautiful looking one. And yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about it. So eager to finally watch this one. I used to have it, but I didn't have it with the slipcover. And that was before the 4K came out. So we will see. But yeah, it's a beautiful looking Blu-ray. I'll need to see if I can find the 4K for a decent price. This one I know I'm gonna put in the 2-cell pile, just because I know that it has a 4K that's out for it, and so I don't even need to bother with that. Same with this one, The Strangers. This is the standard edition here, which it does have the slipcover, which is cool. But again, I have the Screen Factory of this, so I'm just gonna put that in the I keep wanting to say 4-cell, and that's not right. The 2-cell pile. Next up, Joyride 3, which I don't even have the first one, but I'll find it. And apparently this one and the first one are the only ones to have gotten a Blu-ray release. The first one has not. It's only gotten a DVD. And then we got Happy Death Day, which I do remember seeing the trailer for this, and I thought it looked pretty neat. So looking forward to seeing what this has in store. No 4K on this yet, for some reason. A lot of horror films, they don't necessarily have 4Ks yet, for whatever reason. And then this one I've heard bad things about, the Bye Bye Man, but I did like this Canadian slipcover there. Same design as what we saw with Brick Mansions there. So yeah, eager to see what all the fuss is about, see if it's, you know, as bad as people say. I mean, again, I don't really trust people's tastes, especially, you know, when it comes to horror movies. So next up, we have, oh yes, so this here, this was a lot, it was a lot of Liam Neeson action films here. And I'm sorry to say that I am way behind on my Taken films here. I've not seen these. I feel bad about them. I know that they're kind of cultural touchstones these days. But I am eager to see, you know, what all they have in store. These ones here did not come with the slipcover here, and I didn't really see how many discs they had. Now it looks like they only have 3 discs here, so that what I'll do instead is I'll get, there's a cool custom cover that same company that I've been working with, they have some cool, they have a cool custom cover for the trilogy, you know, set, and I'll probably get that. See, I didn't know how many discs there would be, but yeah, I'll do that, save some space on the shelf. Got Nonstop, which this one, the slipcover is in the mail. You know, because again, I knew that this one didn't come with it, but yeah, the slipcover's in the mail for this one. And I've heard good things about this one. How do you guys feel about Liam Neeson being an action star? Because, see, like, when I was a kid, I remembered him in The Phantom Menace as Qui-Gon Jinn, and I, you know, never really thought that he would be kind of finding that new niche for himself. But, you know, different people, people can surprise you. But anyway, yeah, that's the gray there with that Canadian cover there. See if I can't find the slip for that one. A Walk Among the Tombstones, which I've also heard good things about. I like that Canadian slipcover better than the American one that we got. It's so hot in this room. I gotta do something about that. Yeah, I'm trying to get through these relatively quickly because, you know, there's just so many of them, and, you know, trying to keep it moving. But this was one that the A-Team, which I know didn't really perform all that well. I never even saw the show because I was, you know, too young for it, I guess, you know, for when it was in its heyday. But, you know, it's one of those ones you can find for really cheap. You know, might as well give it a watch if it's part of the lot there, and it's got the slipcover with it. And so this one says Future Shop. I mean, some of these stickers you can just kind of tell where they came from, and most of these are Walmart, and then this one's Future Shop. And then last up for that set, we got Unknown there. Now this one, that one's gonna go in the to-sell pile just because I do have a version of this with the slipcover coming. And I think, yeah, I think I'll put the Nonstop, I think I'll put that one in the to-sell pile as well because I remembered I also have one with the slipcover coming for that one. But anyway, moving right along. We got one more pack of this box, and then we'll move on to the last one. Now this one will go in the to-sell pile because of there's a 4K of it, Chappie, which I've not seen. Feel bad about that, but yeah, that'll go in the to sell pile, because I do want to get the 4K of that. I remembered when this came out, and I wanted to see it, but I was too young to shoot 'em up, because I heard that it was like really good, cheesy fun. Look at that awesome lenticular slipcover there. Yeah, I heard it was like really cheesy fun. I really love Clive Owen. I think he's a very underrated action star. And I know it's got, you know, Monica Bellucci looking hot, and it's got, from what I remember hearing, it was like Paul Giamatti was really acting over the top in there. And this is actually one of the sturdier slipcovers I've seen. It's a little heavier duty than other ones. It's almost up there with like a whatever I'm trying to say, Vinegar Syndrome. It's right up there with something that they might do in terms of sturdiness. Oh yeah, Out of the Furnace here, which I remembered I started watching, but I never finished it. It's got a great cast, and I like this Canadian cover on it a little better. I think it's neater. Yeah, it's got a great cast, and eager to finally watch it. It was one of those ones that I was able to find for not a lot of money back in the day, but then I sold it. Get to watch it again, but get to watch it with that cool slip. Oh yeah, I saw this in the theater and I loved it. Harry Brown with Michael Caine. I really, really love this film. Highly recommend it if you've never seen it. It's kind of a, I guess you could call it like a vigilante film, but it, you know, is with Michael Caine as an older man trying to just clean up his admittedly rather dingy neighborhood. I believe, yeah, Guy Ritchie film Rock and Rolla, which never seen, but, you know, again, it was part of the lot there, and it's inexpensive. Yeah, definitely check out Harry Brown if you've never seen it. And then we've got End of Watch here. There's probably a slipcover for this. I'll look for it before I figure out if it needs to go in the to sell pile or not. I like the look of those Canadian slips a little bit better. The ones that are put out by VVS Films, they tend to do a good job with those. And then last up for this particular big box of stuff, we've got a film that I don't think I've ever even heard of this film, but it's Reindeer Games with Ben Affleck there. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of this film, to be honest. But yeah, it was part of the whole package. Got a young Charlize Theron there. When I saw the plastic there, it covered up who all was in it. When I looked at just the cover, I was like, is that Kate Beckinsale? But no, I guess not. Yeah, so there you go, Reindeer Games, and I guess it's like a Christmas-themed, like, action film, I guess? Which, I mean, we have that already with the first Die Hard, but still, be another good one to watch. Okay, one more box to go. Big box of stuff. Same thing, Sweetgrass, Montana. And it's another one, you know, bunch of these that, you know, because they come from Canada, which Sweetgrass, Montana, it's right on the border of Montana and Alberta, and he lives in Alberta. Because they're coming from there, they can take a little while to get here, but once they do, they're definitely worth it. Because the price is most definitely right, and you can get a lot for a little. Alright. Yep. He does a good job of packing these too. Make sure that they're nice and secure, but they're not too crazy to open. Okay, here we go. We got Easy A, which, you know, I remembered really digging this film. I'm a huge, huge fan of The Scarlet Letter, and I think Emma Stone does a great job. This was actually one of her earliest starring roles, if I remember. Now, this is a film that I I'd heard some decent things about this American Ultra. I like this Canadian slipcover better. That's what I part of why I went out and got it. Because like when I saw the trailers for it, I wasn't all that thrilled with it. But then I heard some decent things about it, and it was low price for the slip there, and I thought, hey, why not? And it was less expensive doing it this way than it was at other stores I've seen. And the French title there is Hyper Asian American, which that's a good title too. Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart there. Here's a I think, very underrated found footage film, Devil's Due. I think a lot of people didn't really necessarily care for it. I know that Eli Roth is a big fan of it, and to me, I thought it covers similar territory to Rosemary's Baby, but I think that, I'm not like a humongous fan of Rosemary's Baby, even though objectively it's good. I got kind of annoyed with the protagonist in there, but I think these people are more likable, and they do more proactive things, and yet, the bad stuff happens regardless, which I think is a little bit, that's more, that's not a good thing whenever you're trying to solve the problem and it still doesn't work. Anyway, Beowulf there, the Robert Zemeckis motion capture film, which I remembered hearing a whole lot about when it first came out, and then it didn't really have much of a half-life after that. But again, it was really cheap. Thought I'd check it out because I was curious about how in the heck they managed to do this. But yeah, that was back when Robert Zemeckis was doing all of those motion capture films, which I'm glad that he stopped doing that. Because those things were really creepy, they had that uncanny valley thing going on. I saw this in the theater, The Men Who Stare at Goats, and I remembered really loving it, or at like 3/4 of it, and then once it got to the ending, I thought it kind of petered out on us. Then Brokeback Mountain there, classic, or modern classic drama, and certainly was controversial for its time, but I think nowadays it is looked back on very fondly. Probably should have gotten Best Picture over Crash, even though I did think Crash was good. Then we got Precious here, which Monique won Best Supporting Actress for this one, and got a bunch of other nominations. I don't know what Gabourey Sidibe is up to these days, but it's got Monique, Paula Patton, who I really love, Mariah Carey. She does a really good job in that film. She is pretty unrecognizable. Lenny Kravitz, and the aforementioned Gabourey Sidibe. And then I heard not so great things about this film, The Circle, but again, it was cheap with the slipcover, and the slipcover looks a little bit cooler than the one that we got in America. Plus, this one also has a great cast. Emma Watson, Tom Hanks. It's got my girl Karen Gillan in it. It's got what's his face, Finn from the new Star Wars films. His name I'm blanking on at the moment because my brain is about to turn to jelly. And you're all saying, but it was already jelly, and you would be right. Anyway, moving right along. Yeah, these are nice and easy to open. I'm pleased. I'm just going to go ahead and open all these up so that way I don't have to think about it. Yeah, this is like the most, I think, just in terms of the sheer numbers of things, this is the most I've ever gotten in one video. But again, I ordered these quite a while ago, and then they finally showed up. So it seems like a lot at one time. It just took a while for these things to come. All right, last stack. Here we go. Bruno with the slipcover there, which, slipcover's not super easy to find, but I did manage to find it, and again, it's the Canadian version, so it's got the French on there too. I liked Bruno. I liked Borat more, but as far as like this was kind of the last hurrah from Sacha Baron Cohen in terms of like his mockumentary style films for quite a while, and then I guess he brought it back with that show, Who is America or whatever, which I've not seen all of. I've seen clips here and there, but I do want to see the full show. We got Get the Gringo with Mel Gibson there, which I've heard good things about that. The slipcover is coming separately. Yeah, I've heard good things about this. Eager to check it out. And then we've got, this is a romantic comedy that I really loved, was Friends with Benefits there. Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis have amazing chemistry in this, and I think they have good chemistry. It's got good dialogue. It's quite, oh, look at that. So it's got, like, the disc, I guess, like, in a separate sleeve, and it's, like, taped to it. Now, that's weird. So, look, it should go in there, but it's here. I don't know why. Oh, it's making of featurette there. So maybe, okay, well, maybe that was supposed to, have the DVD of the movie in there. I don't know. I mean, it's not a huge deal, because, I'm not gonna watch the Blu-ray, but anyway, so just put that in there. And these are actually pretty handy if you want to, store extra discs safely. And this is I believe it's an Amazon film that I heard really good things about, The Lost City of Z, which I guess that in proper British English of the time in which this is set, I guess it would have been The Lost City of Zed. But, this is America and we say Z, like you're supposed to. But anyway, yeah, I heard good things about that. The slipcover on there, I think, was a little bit cooler than the one we got. Robert Pattinson, Sienna Miller, Tom Holland. Robert Pattinson's really showing his dramatic acting skills, and that's good because he's going to be Batman. Bad Moms Christmas, which I have the first Bad Moms, and so now, get to add this one to there. Not seen this one, and I did not used to have it, so this is all new. Yeah, so looking forward to that. Big fan of a lot of these people. Getting tired here. Away We Go. This one I remembered seeing in the theaters. Kind of small scale Sam Mendes comedy about pregnancy. And pregnancy comedies, I remember for a while there, they were kind of all the rage because of Juno and Knocked Up, and then this. They kind of went through their little spell there. Now there's The Butler here, which I remembered. I enjoyed it up until I felt like the end sort of, it lost steam, but I need to see it again. I remembered thinking that Forrest Whitaker did a great job. Oprah Winfrey is a very underrated actress, and I know that she did a lot of acting, prior to hosting the Oprah Winfrey Show. Obviously, she did an amazing job in The Color Purple. And I feel like in a lot of ways, because she obviously is like the wealthiest woman in the world, she doesn't need to do a lot of acting, and so when she does do it, it's a treat. But I do think because she is who she is, that oftentimes people can forget just what a good actress she really is. And so when you do see that, then it's nice. It's cool. It's like, hey, look at that. And then we got Two Guns here, which was based on a comic book that I've not read. Got Paula Patton in there, and Denzel and Mark Wahlberg, and I like Paula Patton quite a lot. I think she's really, really beautiful. And yeah, I got our 2 discs there. Yeah, eager to check that out. With this cooler Canadian slipcover there from Entertainment One. Here's a good one, Crazy Stupid Love with the slipcover. I used to have this, but the one that I had, the slipcover was all messed up. So I'm glad to have it back, but with a slipcover that's actually intact. Good chemistry with all the actors here, and directed by Glenn Ficarra and John Requa. They did Focus, they did I Love You, Philip Morris. They did a lot of films that I really dug. I'm big fans of theirs. Bangkok Dangerous with Nicolas Cage there. I'm trying to get a lot of his kind of, well, I think he's a really underappreciated actor, but also, he kind of went, this was like kind of at the dawn of his acting in anything phase, and, he hasn't really gotten out of that since, although he is going to be Joe Exotic on that Tiger King, the fiction series, the non-documentary one, which I think is the perfect casting choice. I think he's going to kill it in that role. But yeah, I think he's quite a talent. And then we got The Heat, which I remembered seeing. I think I saw it with my now ex-fiance, and I enjoyed it. It was a good kind of action comedy, kind of like a little bit more of a more comedic version of like a more comedic version of something like Lethal Weapon, which that series got more humorous as it went along. And then this one, I remembered Spotlight here. I remembered not, like, I enjoyed it, but, like, I didn't think it was quite Best Picture worthy. Like, I think The Revenant was quite a lot better, and Mad Max was better. But I did think it was solid. I like this slipcover a whole lot better than the one that we got in America. Good ensemble cast and everything. I just was like, for me, the big thing was, like, you saw something like The Revenant, which I felt like it really catapulted the art of film forward in a lot of ways, at least visually. And then you had this one where, good acting and everything, and it's a, true story. But, I think it was shot very much like something you might see on, like, HBO or the BBC or something. It wasn't, like, didn't propel the medium forward as much. The Soloist, I remembered seeing this in the theater. Kind of an underrated comedy that not a lot of people, or not comedy, drama that not a lot of people talk about these days. But yeah, I remembered that this was pretty solid. I haven't seen it in so long, that's kind of why I wanted to get it. Colombiana with Zoe Saldana, who I really love. The slipcover for this is coming in the mail separately. And eager to check it out. I remembered thinking that this had one of the best trailers that I'd seen in a long time. When I saw the trailer for this, I thought it was edited very well. I like trailers that convey more of a mood, and they don't worry about spoiling so much of the plot in the trailer. We've got the Sin City 2-pack here, which is nice. I like these films. The first one's the best, and the second one it's okay. It's nothing amazing. You definitely, the first one's still by far the best one. Anyway, yeah, so we got Sin City, both of them. And we got Chef, which I remembered seeing in the theater. This one, I think Jon Favreau has a really good grasp of how to do, original comedy, or at least, off the beaten track comedy. And, he got 3 of, like, the most beautiful, like, at least 2, if not 3. I can't remember who the third one was, but he got Sofia Vergara and Scarlett Johansson in here, and it's like, he has good taste, that's for sure. And I could have sworn he had one more, but I can't recall off the top of my head. This is one I've not seen, Spy. Heard nothing but good things about that. Melissa McCarthy, like, I haven't really seen her in a drama yet, although I've heard that she's quite good in dramas. But yeah, eager to... I'm trying to catch up with a lot of people in terms of comedy and action and things like that. And speaking of which, forgetting Sarah Marshall with the slipcover. Similar situation, love Kristen Bell, love Mila Kunis. I think Jason Segel, he hasn't really gotten a lot of his, like, I think he could probably, he's one of those actors I think has a really, really good dramatic performance in him somewhere, and it just hasn't been utilized yet. I could be wrong about that, but he just kind of strikes me as that way. Oh yeah, here we go. Melancholia, the Lars von Trier film. I didn't really expect to see this amongst everything else, but I'm glad to finally have it, because, you know, this is an excellent, excellent film, especially, like, if you, yeah, if you know anyone that, you know, has dealt with depression, or if you've dealt with it yourself or whatever, you know, then you can definitely relate to it. Kristen Dunst's best performance by far. Only got 3 more. Hellride, kind of exploitation action throwback. And Quentin Tarantino, I guess, executive producer of that. I like the illustrated look to it. This is one I remembered when it came out. I really wanted to see it for some reason. I never did. It was the 2004 King Arthur. And it's probably not great, but I just remembered when it came out that it, for some reason, it just made a kind of a splash. I guess because it was a Jerry Bruckheimer production, and his films tend to make a big splash when they come out, or at least they did. I don't know what he's up to these days. And finally, one more for your viewing pleasure. And it is the Book of Eli here with the slipcover. And yeah, I heard good things about this, you know, like a post-apocalyptic kind of Mad Max-ish film. And again, Mila Kunis in this one. And, you know, Denzel again. So, there you are. My voice is tired. My neck is tired. I am tired. But anyway, yeah, so that was a massive haul today. But yeah, a lot of stuff that I'd ordered quite a while ago finally showed up today. And so yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed that. I know I am glad to finally have gotten these in the mail. And yeah, eager to put these on the shelf. That's going to be a chore in and of itself. So yeah, please hit the subscribe button and like and share and set phasers to stun and warp factor 5 and all that good stuff. And make sure that if you're going out that you're adequately prepared. And I will see you in the next video. Hopefully you like the new setup too.